Okay, we are live. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you. How's it going?
Great. Awesome to have you here, and welcome to our live, anyone who is tuning in on Facebook or LinkedIn today. We have Laura Nixon here. She is the founder and CEO of Solid Oral Care, a Wellington-based sustainable teeth care company. And welcome, Laura. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, good. Had a busy morning, but yeah, looking forward to chatting about how our PledgeMe went and yeah, how we sort of, I guess, today are sort of seeing the benefits of it.
Nice one. And whereabouts are you beaming into us from right now? You at home?
I am at home at the moment, so yeah,
Nice.
I work from home sort of about half the time, and then yeah, in our not to give away what happened, but in our factory the other half of the time.
Awesome. And where is home for you?
Titahi Bay, Porirua. So yeah, lovely, lovely part of the country. We're right by the beach, and yeah,
Nice.
very lucky to live here.
Oh, beautiful. I am talking to you from Takaka, Golden Bay, top of the south. And
Oh,
for those
lovely.
who don't know, yeah, beautiful here. And we're probably a really good demographic for your toothpaste, actually. And I am projects and marketing lead for PledgeMe, just in case people wonder who this person is. We were hoping to have Anna with us today, but she has just had a baby, which we're so excited about. So,
Wow.
yeah, she's had her baby must be like a month old, maybe. So you can imagine the stage Anna is at right now. She's getting her head around being a mum, and she's trying to get sleep, and yeah, she is
Yeah,
getting
fair
to
enough. Fair
know.
enough that she yeah opted out of this. It is a tough a tough time.
Yeah, and probably not the easiest thing to go live with a month-old little girl, whose name is
No, no,
Bree,
no.
by the way.
Oh, lovely.
So we are going to jump into some questions, and to anyone who tunes in here, feel free to ask questions, be that now live or in the future when you watch this. So our first question for you, Laura, is can you introduce Solid to us and go back to the very beginning? Tell us what originally inspired you to start Solid.
Cool. Yeah. So at Solid, we make sustainable toothpaste. But I guess if you're going for sort of a loftier idea of that, we're on a mission to change the way that we look after our teeth. So we currently throw away 16 million plastic tubes in New Zealand each year. And I mean, for what we get out of them, I mean, it's generally quite an uninspiring chore. So we think that we can change this and pretty much do toothpaste better. So I have a background in oral health, so it was really important to me that in doing this, sort of changing the way that we look after our teeth, that it's still going to be good for your teeth, protect your teeth, prevent decay, all those good things that you sort of come to expect from your toothpaste. But do it in a more sustainable and kind of fun and even exciting, if you believe that way.
Nice. And when you say you have a background, I'm slightly diverting from our planned questions already. What was your role? And also, so did you sort of spend some years in your role thinking, I could do this slightly better?
Yeah, so my background is a dental therapist and a dental hygienist.
Mm.
So I worked in those roles for about 4 years, and gradually, sort of through that time, well, actually, even when I was studying, it was sort of in the back of my head, just sort of thinking,
Mm.
wow, we get through a lot of plastic waste in this. We are wrapping sort of everything. There is plastic everywhere. Everything I'm recommending is plastic.
Mm.
What's happening here? And yeah, just sort of, I guess that sort of grew to the point where I was just getting like kind of really angry about it as well. And then just sort
Mm.
of also, I am a problem solver. So I thought, well, it's very good, it's fine to get angry about this and realize you can't make sort of any change in your role, but what can I do? So yeah, just got to thinking, well, maybe I can do something on the home care side of things. So what we're using with toothpaste, floss, mouthwash, just all those sort of oral care items and how we can do
Mm.
those better.
Amazing. And how many years ago was that you started up?
So that was about 3 years ago now. So I have ended up basically when my second sort of son was born was I think it's sort of the
Mm.
real kind of like sort of hard to think, well, this is a sort of, we're doing a sort of real business now. This is not just sort of me like, getting some powders together and sort of working out how I can make toothpaste tablets, yeah.
Wow. And so And 3 years on from your second son being born, you decided to crowdfund. And
Yes.
so can you tell me what led you to want to crowdfund with PledgeMe?
Well, we knew we needed to raise some money. We knew we needed to move our lab so we converted the entire bottom part of our house into a toothpaste lab. And then we got to the point that we were growing, and we ended up having to put a container on our front lawn. And yeah, we needed to move. It was quite clear. So when we looked at sort of how we were going to sort of raise money for this, I guess we probably thought, maybe correctly or incorrectly, that the sort of typical ways of getting money probably weren't sort of right for us, or we didn't sort of have, people lining up to sort of invest in us. But who knows, that may be a wrong misconception.
Yeah.
So we thought,
maybe in the future.
Yeah, Brianne West, how she sort of and when with the early days of Atik, how she went and crowdfunded. That was quite a cool inspiration, and just decided that since we've got such a sort of community around us, and that people sort of really sort of get into us, people get really excited about solid and toothpaste. That was our sort of a good way to go.
That is so cool. And then, so what amount did you go for, and what did that specifically enable you to do?
So we decided to go for 20,000. So I guess when we were deciding, I was like, oh my gosh, that seems like so much. But then I actually think in the end it was probably sort of a good way to go. And it was to enable us to take the initial steps, and to move our lab essentially out of our house. And I think having that really sort of clear goal of what we needed that money for was really, really useful. Like anyone can understand, it was a very clear goal of what we needed it for. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I think having a super clear reason pledges can get on board with something is definitely the way to go. And so 20,000, you felt that was a good amount. That was your first ever crowdfund, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. So yeah, I think I don't know. It's always easy to look sort of back in hindsight and think, how would you? But I think it was sort of, I think if I'd sort of gone for like anything more, it's sort of, who knows what can happen, right? Like
because actually from memory, what was happening halfway through or 2/3 through? Was it the floods happened? The big storms happened up north?
Yeah, Cyclone Gabrielle was like literally right in the middle of our campaign. So that was that was really full on at the time. Because I'm from Hawke's Bay actually, so it was quite it's a sort of it was a full on time then.
Yeah, so it kind of I think from memory, maybe you were 2/3 there, so and it just was really hard time to be pushing out for you, wasn't it? At that time when you were so emotionally caught up what was happening. So worked out to be a good amount to go for, because I suspect because you've got such a supportive community, you probably in hindsight could have gone from even more, but it will seem like the perfect amount, given that the cyclone happened midway through your campaign.
And there were so many sort of, I mean, even though we actually heard from people sort of saying like, oh, I really, really would have wanted to, but I can sort of see that, and I would totally understand, can see that there's, other people in a more sort of, immediate need situation, you know what I mean?
Right.
Sort of,
that's
so
true.
Sort of weigh that. So, and that's totally understandable. It's it's just one of those things that happens, right? You never know what's going to sort of happen during,
Yeah, and speaking of that, can you tell people a little bit about what you did to prepare for your crowdfunding campaign? Because I suspect there's a lot more work that goes into that stage than people initially realise.
Yeah, there is. Although I guess we also we kind of set ourselves a deadline of like, we're going to put it up at this date, which I would really recommend doing. And because it just makes you get all the stuff done. And I think one of the things that we found was really good is we have a videographer who has done sort of some work for us in the past, and he made us a video for our PledgeMe. And that really sort of helped sort of both us sort of clarify our message, and also just have a really useful, good sort of, way to sort of explain what we're doing. And that, and it was amazing. So and I guess just also working out both the practical sides and the more sort of like bigger sort of story sort of sides of it as well was was really important. And yeah, I guess working at like basically a lot of list making, you know, working out your awards, working out who you can approach. And yeah, so there's definitely work in it, but also it's, yeah, you don't need like months and months of sort of time, but I'd say, you know, at least a month would be
At
probably,
least a
I think
month.
we have I'd say a month of, yeah, being able to plan. 6 weeks, maybe, probably a bit more. I'm trying to remember actually how we did it, but that was me and Adam, my co-founder, both working on it. Yeah.
Nice one. So when you did launch your campaign, what happened? Did people pledge straight away?
Well, when you like sort of initially sort of like click, you know, launch or publish or whatever, nothing happens, right? Because because no one knows yet. So, but I'm used to that, I guess, from doing, you know, blogs and sort of social media, and you know, you sort of used to that kind of. You don't expect the second you sort of do something, it's then, okay, now I get into my work of telling everyone that I've done this. So our next step was we had a email message ready to go out to our subscribers, sort of explaining what we were doing. So once we said that, that's when we got, yeah, lots of great early support there.
Nice one. That is so good for your confidence, isn't it, when you get those and early pledges coming in?
Yes, especially from people who are, you know, just sort of like that they've signed up to our mailing list, and so just, you know, just that really, it's just really cool to have yeah, these people who are, yeah, our sort of customers and who just are sort of interested in our newsletter, sort of being like, yeah, no, I'm gonna support you. Yeah, so it was very cool.
Amazing. And then what happened? What happened mid-campaign? Because a mid-campaign for people is can sometimes be a hard time of the campaign because the pledging might start strong and then slow down. But did that happen for you?
Yes. So I think part of it, as we spoke about before, was the cyclone. But I think probably it's a natural kind of thing anyway. So I think you have probably some people who are kind of waiting till the end, for example, to sort of see if they like want to, you know, will get you sort of over that line, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to just, which was hard for us as well, to just sort of continue, I guess, telling your story and just kind of keep with it. And also, I guess, reach out to like you, essentially, at the PledgeMe team to sort of, I guess, just discuss it and sort of realize that that's normal, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. And so mid-campaign, what were you doing to keep those messages going out there? What sort of stuff were you saying to share your story?
I guess we kind of looked at it as a sort of, so the entire month of the campaign, I'm not a huge planner, but I had sort of done a rough plan of like, so I'm going to do, you know, X amount, you know, of social media posts, and then sort of space out some emails that you're going to do. So basically, I think planning what you're going to do kind of each day and how you're going to sort of discuss a different part of things is very, very useful. Even if you're not a born planner, I managed to do it. And so, yeah, and even just who you're going to go out to, and just, you know, you might think, oh, actually, there's this group I could reach out to, or these people I could reach out to, or you know, this newspaper might be interested, or this, just kind of, I guess, going every avenue, even if that seems a bit like, you know, out of the, you know, because you never know.
This is gold advice, people, for anyone tuning in. Yeah, for project campaign. Oh, and equity campaigners, actually. Same principle applies, really. Getting the word out there. So so we have talked about a few more challenging aspects of your campaign, but for you, what were the hardest parts of your campaign?
I guess the uncertainty. It's always quite hard doing something like that, especially the first time you were doing it, because you just don't have a clue. Like, you know, you could go in and sort of, you know, just that. But I think that after doing the first one, I think you get a bit more of an idea of how it all works. But yeah, I think it's definitely that uncertainty. And I also would recommend, like, see, I like don't like sort of getting sort of like notifications that, you know, oh, someone's or that kind of thing. So I made sure I had that sort of switched off. So it was just case I could check in and see how things are going on my sort of time, rather than let it totally overwhelm sort of, you know. Yeah.
So I think what else did you do to deal with the harder parts?
I guess just pretty much doing the stuff that I usually do when I'm in a stressful situation. So just doing whatever
Yeah.
works, for you personally. Go to
Mm.
the gym, go for a walk, do all that
Nice
kind of
one.
thing to sort of
Yeah.
not let it take over your entire sort of entire being, but still obviously
See,
put the work in, but also think
yeah.
I've done absolutely, and so we now think we did everything we possibly could, feel good
Mm.
about this, whatever the outcome is. Yeah.
That is so cool. And I really, it's interesting for me to hear about the self-care was a really important part of your campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. As it is
Mm.
with any, I think
Beautiful.
whenever you're sort of have your own sort of business, trying to, which I haven't been taking my own advice lately, but yeah, taking the time to sort of schedule sort of time for yourself and time where you're
Mm.
not just absolutely, deep in your business or organization or whatever
Mm.
you're doing. Yeah.
Nice, Laura. Um, so, coming to the other end of the spectrum, what aspect of doing this crowdfunding thing did you most enjoy?
What was actually quite cool when I sort of think about it was I actually really enjoyed coming up with our rewards. So
Yeah.
I actually found that really fun and taking sort of the photos for them and just, like Adam came up with a really cool idea of doing a jumbo jar of toothpaste tablets, which was really popular and was really cool and fun and just sort of things that people couldn't get anywhere else. So that was kind of a nice creative part. And I think also at the end, when you sort of end up seeing who has pledged, is also
Mm.
amazing because you're sort of like, oh my gosh, those people,
Ah,
wow. Like I never would have sort of thought. And it's just so, yeah, it's really, really lovely sometimes. And, or even
mm.
just, thinking, oh, that person I went to, high school with, they put in $5 just because, just
Yeah.
that kind of thing as well. It's really cool. Yeah.
Ah, it sounds so heartening. So, okay, next question. If you were to do this again, and you may crowdfund again, what would you do differently?
I guess as before, how I sort of touched on, would we set a higher target? I guess it's sort of, as I said, in hindsight, always quite easy to sort of say that. But I think,
Mm.
yeah, probably I don't really think there was too much. I think we sort of went in thinking we're going to put our all into this and sort of do it
Mm.
the best we can within reason. Like we're not going to spend tons and tons of money on, like, I think there's some things it's worth spending money on, like getting a good video. But
Hmm.
the rest was just kind of like, me taking the rewards photos and things like that and writing the copy and stuff. So I think, yeah, I actually don't think we would do much differently. And Adam was amazing
Awesome.
in helping out to sort of everyone he knew as well. So yeah, I actually think
Mm.
yeah, it's nice to sort of think, well, I kind of put all my all in, and I don't think there's much I'd do different.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear. And so, for those who are thinking about following in your footsteps and crowdfunding, maybe people who are in a similar place with their business, have you got two top pieces of advice that you could offer?
Uh, I would say it is work, and it probably people doing it have got sort of experience with the kind of, you write something or whatever and put it on the internet and just
Mm.
quiet, right? Like sort of no one sees it. So I think
Mm.
it needs to be you know, you do it and don't, and then sort of realize, okay, now all the work is I have to draw people to this place. I will do whatever I
Mm.
can, put it wherever I can, and never be afraid that you're kind of repeating yourself too much because there's always going to be
Mm.
new people seeing what you're doing. And often, the way that sort of the internet is you're never really going to, you're never really going to be hitting that same person like multiple times. So just get the word out as much as you can. And also that you need to be kind of willing to potentially show a part of yourself you may not have in the past. So I think as long as you sort of realize you're okay with it, it can actually be quite nice because then going forward you can sort of be a bit more, I guess, open about sort of certain parts that you may not have been in the past. And everyone loves to sort of, I guess, see that behind the scenes working of businesses they like.
Mm. Nice. That's so, I really see that coming through with PledgeMe campaigns that a lot of founders do find it a little bit scary to step out from behind the business because, and you do need to do that, I think, with PledgeMe
Mm.
campaigns, show the humans behind the campaign because people pledge for people. So,
Yes.
yeah, that advice makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, final question for you, Laura. What's happening today for Solid? Where are you at the moment?
So I guess so as I said, our goal was to move into a new factory. And yeah, so we moved into a new factory. It's really nice. We can just sort of like have this, you know, we this is our goal, it's what we want to do. And it all kind of neatly falls into place. It's actually really unusual when that happens. So I'm really glad to say that it all worked out amazing.
That's so cool.
But yeah, that is very rare in the life of a sort of small business. So yeah.
What a cool thing to be able to also, you know,
take it as a win.
What a cool thing that you can do what you said you'd do in terms of, and for people thinking about crowdfunding, that's a really important thing, isn't it? To do what you said you would do for your crowd and to build that trust. And then in case you want to crowdfund in the future, you've sort of
yes.
proven that you will do what you said you do. And then hopefully if you crowdfund again, you'll have that trust. Yeah.
Yes. And I think, yeah, people enjoy sort of seeing, you know, and you know, I even have people that I sort of will bump into when they're picking up their orders from our place, being like, oh, you're moving, you know, next, which is it's lovely, right?
Yeah, I see. I love seeing your stories on. I'm watching you on socials, on Instagram and maybe Facebook as well. But yeah, seeing that story, you're so transparent about that, and it's really cool to be able to keep up with what Solid's up to on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, cool. That's
bearing
nice
in mind that you've got your two boys, right? Two boys,
or
boy and girl.
Two boys as well.
I know that you're both very busy in the background, keeping things humming along, taking care of the whānau and. Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, you go, Laura.
Oh, I don't really think I had that much more to say. I guess okay. You just sort of make it work. I think with this and with like you sort of, I don't know, you just kind of, if you got, you know, you really want to do something, you just kind of make it work, right? So yeah,
nice one. That's the end of my questions. So I am going to, this will be available across various platforms. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today, Laura, and share your story. I know heaps of people will find your story really inspiring, particularly those who are at a similar place within the first few years of starting the business. They've got it, you know, they've got some momentum and they need to sort of level up a bit, but they're not quite ready to go to the investment stage. So PledgeMe is a great option for that. Yeah, and you've given some wonderful examples. I mean, I know the rewards aspect of crowdfunding can take you some getting your head around, but you guys embraced that. So thanks for
use it as a sort of way to show your creativity and do it, I guess, also in a sort of a smart way as well, so that you're not sort of like everything 50% off. Just do it in a more sort of more interesting way, I guess, with like exclusive things that people can't get anywhere else and that kind of thing.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much. We are going to sign off now, and this will be available very soon live. And anyone who tunes into this, as I said, you can still ask questions. If we need to get some to Laura, we can easily get them to her. But we'd love to hear any comments or questions. Thanks for being with us today, Laura. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.